right now what I'm doing for my fat loss journey is good morning. Thanks for joining me for another commute vlog where I ramble on about all things going on in my life. You can ask me questions, I'll answer your questions, and we just kind of build a little community here. I am passionate about sharing content about my rheumatoid arthritis, about how I'm dealing with that, how I'm improving my overall health and wellness, and the things that you can do to make little changes and improvements in your life. Today is my Monday. I'm just heading off to work. Work 4 days this week, so that's nice. It's a short week. Then I'm going camping on the weekend. So excited. I did a big hike this weekend. I mean big. I say big for me. It was apparently rated moderate, but yeah, it was 5K, and you know, it had a good amount of uphill. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd say it was difficult for me and just my fitness and my heart and everything. Walking uphill, my heart rate I think got up to like 140 or 150, which is a little bit high, I think. For me, I've been watching a lot of videos and seeing people talk online about, you know, if you're trying to lose fat, it is best to be in kind of a low intensity range, I guess, so it doesn't like spike your cortisol and spike your stress hormones, which then affects your other hormones, stuff like that. So walking is supposed to be the best cardio for losing weight, losing fat. So I think I'm gonna stick to more easier walks or easier hikes, you know, nothing too crazy like uphill that really gets my heart rate going. I do want to incorporate that, but maybe next summer when I'm a little bit more fitter overall and in general. So right now what I'm doing for my fat loss journey is I am just focused on improving my overall activity levels in the day. So that means increasing my step count, and how I'm doing that is some mornings, not all mornings, but some mornings, if I know I'm not walking a lot at work that day, because some days at work I have job duties where I am walking around a lot, or there are days where I'm just sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. So I kind of look at my day like, okay, am I doing a shift where I'm walking around? Yes, today is that day. So I might just take into consideration the walking that I'll be doing at work. And then also I get 2 half-an-hour breaks at work, so I like to take at least one of those half-an-hour breaks and just go for a nice, you know, 15 to 20 minute walk, and see if I have time on my second break after I've eaten lunch to also go on just like a small 10-minute walk right after lunch. And if it's a day at work, either maybe I have the day off or I am not walking around a lot at work, I will do my walking pad in the mornings. So I've got a little walking pad and it fits right under my desk at home. It's really nice. And I'll just do a half-an-hour walk on there in the mornings. So focusing on walking especially, you know, nothing, no running, no jogging, no crazy cardio, just walking, increasing my step count. I've got a little smartwatch that counts my steps. So right now my step goal is to get at least around 6,000 steps a day, I should say. And I want to pay a little closer attention to it, but I just want to make sure my weekly step count is kind of increasing as I'm improving my health here. So, you know, it's maybe less important to look at your daily step count, but look at your weekly step count. You know, instead of going from, you know, maybe you're only getting 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 steps a day, and your goal is maybe like 10,000 steps a day. Like, I don't want you to try to go from that, you know, 2,000 steps all the way to 10,000 steps a day. You'll get burnt out very quickly, because that is a huge lifestyle change. That's a huge commitment to make. So I would recommend just starting slowly. Start tracking your steps daily. Don't even make any changes. Just start and see where you're at, and then just think of little ways you can fit walking into your daily life. Like, I've even started to park further away in the parking lots just to get that little bit of an extra walk. Or if I know I have an appointment in town or, you know, something like that, I'll try to maybe go early and just get in a little half-an-hour walk, like around the block, because where I live, it's not really walkable. I have to actually drive somewhere to go walking. I can't just walk outside the door of my house and go very easily anyway. So if I'm coming into town, I will go a little bit early and just make sure I get a walk around the block or whatever. And of course, the other major thing I'm doing for my fat loss journey is focusing on my food. So I'm eating in a caloric deficit, which in order to figure that out for yourself, everyone's different. I'll talk numbers here, but don't do what I'm doing. This is just my journey. This isn't advice. You got to figure out what works for you and work with a professional. So for me, I am aiming to eat around 1,800 calories a day. I calculated my TDEE, which is your total daily expenditure, energy expenditure, and then just kind of reduced it by 200 to 300 calories. You don't want to do anything too crazy, like 500 plus calorie deficits. At that point, your body's gonna start rebelling and feel like it's starving, right? And it's not gonna want to let go of that weight. So one of my main focuses with food has been calorie tracking, but only because I want to know what I'm eating. So at first, I didn't make any changes. I just kind of ate how I was eating normally. Just to track it, just to see where I was at, and then I started to adjust. And one thing I incorporated was intermittent fasting. And so some days I'll just make sure I stop eating, in the evening sometime, maybe 7:30, and then just don't have any snacks after that. Go to sleep, wake up, and then I don't eat breakfast before I leave for work. So that is a big major change for me. Normally I would always eat a breakfast before leaving for work, and it would be early in the morning, right? Today I work at 7 a.m. So I would be eating at 6 a.m. right? So that's not even 12-hour difference. If I had dinner and I stopped eating at 7 o'clock the previous evening, and then I'm eating again at 5:30 or 6 the next morning, that's not even a 12-hour window of not eating, which I think should be the minimum overnight. It's best for your insulin. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I just know you need at least 12 hours, if not more. So intermittent fasting is when it's a bit more than the 12 hours. So sometimes I will eat at my first break at work, which I typically get a break at around 9 or 10 a.m. Or some days I will go not eating until my lunch break at work, which is about 12 or 1 o'clock. And I think that has been one of the biggest helps for me personally, because I've been listening to my hunger cues a lot more. Because when I shorten my eating window, say I'm only eating from noon until 6 p.m. or something, 6 or 7 p.m., I find that I can't physically, I'm not physically hungry enough to fully eat all the calories that I was eating previously. So it honestly makes it really easy for me to be in a calorie deficit when I'm intermittent fasting. I find I do feel quite hungry in the mornings. Even right now, I can feel a bit of hunger, but I find it goes away, interestingly enough. I'll be at work, I'll just be working away, and come 9 o'clock, I might still feel a little bit hungry, but if I'm not eating until my 12 o'clock break, I notice it goes away. I don't know, it gets easier, you get used to it. I appreciate my hunger, right? I went so long just eating and binging and snacking all the time that I never really felt hungry at all. I don't think I've felt hunger for 4 or 5 years, these past 4 or 5 years when I gained most of my weight. So I do appreciate my hunger, and I'm excited to feel it again, and I'm excited to know that my body is kind of using its excess stores, and I'm getting back to a healthier me. I think those are the main big things for now, because I've heard a lot of advice as well. If you are on a fat loss journey, really the number one thing is just getting your eating under control. Oh, I guess one other thing I'm doing is prioritizing protein. So I was a vegetarian for a long time, since 2018, and then just this year, 2024, I started reintroducing meat into my diet again. So I've been making sure that my meals are protein forward, and I try to eat at least 100 grams of protein a day. And that's supposed to keep you fuller and more satisfied. And I find it really helps. I'll admit this past weekend I was not eating the greatest. You know, I went to a fair and I was eating fries and gravy and cheese and like not a lot of protein. And like yesterday, like I definitely felt tired. I wasn't walking as much this weekend. Like I definitely felt like crap yesterday, and yeah, I could notice a big difference. But that's where the food tracking kind of comes into play, right? Like I can look back at the past weekend and I can look back at the past week and see, okay, how am I feeling versus did I meet all my protein goals? Was I eating enough protein? And not really. Like this past week, honestly, I don't think I ate enough protein. I was only getting around 60, 70, 80 grams of protein. So, and it's because I haven't been drinking my protein shakes. Like that's a big thing. Like really, I'm only eating 2 meals. If I'm doing my intermittent fasting, I'll eat like lunch and dinner. And so I like to supplement that with a protein shake. And I haven't been drinking my shakes this week. So I gotta get it back on that. We're trying though. We're trying. I'm definitely so proud of myself at the results that I have gotten. You know, since February of this year, I've lost 20 pounds, and my goal is to lose approximately another 20 pounds so I can be under 200 pounds by September, is kind of my just arbitrary goal. Like, I don't know. I'm also going to the gym a little bit, so that kind of, yeah. Okay, after work.